Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Treasure Earth. My name's Wayne. Another beautiful day here. Out again with Michael here from Only Me Again Metal Detecting. This is day 3 on our little search around his area here, and we've he's picked up just a beautiful location here. As you can just see the landscape here. I'm just in awe of it, actually. But he's brought me up to a spot. There was a holding pond here that the fish from one of the rivers would get held here for some of the lords and whatnot of the area. He's going to show me that. We'll take some pictures of it, but a really cool history. You know, not only am I learning about metal detecting sort of in this area and getting a lot of tips here from Michael on that, but I'm just learning about the history of this place, and it's just awesome. So let's see what we'll find today, and thanks again for joining me. All right, so Michael's going to just take us through and give us a bit of a history lesson here. Certainly explain it better than me. So what have we got behind us here?
So it actually looks like a group of trees, but it's probably what we call a medieval holding pond. And the idea of a holding pond was that it would be close to a huge manor house, like a mansion, but it would be a medieval one, so 800 years old. And the lord of the manor would require fresh fish to keep him, you know, full and fed. And of course the river was quite far away, so he would send the guys fishing down to the river, and he would have ponds close to the manor house where he would keep all of the fish so that they could go grab some fish, cook them for his lunch, and they wouldn't actually have to travel that far. And this one just so happens to be very close to the manor house where we're detecting today, and also it's really well hidden but quite well preserved. But we'll go in and have a look and I'll show you that. Okay, so we're just going to go down the bank of what is the pond. So it's a few trees and stuff, and you have to watch where you're standing. And what you'll notice is that you're coming down a nice small gradient slope. And then now you're coming into essentially the bottom of the pond. Now there's no water here. It's all dried up. It's no longer a pond at all. But what you will notice when you're stood in here is how flat and uniformed the edges of the pond still are in some of the places. And you'll see that it's totally flat all the way around the outside until you get to this side, where unfortunately there's been some demolition and a tree's fallen down, so it's kind of ruined it from this side. And that's why it's probably a holding pond rather than anything else at all. It's very close to the house. It's all smooth sides. There's no steep drops, which is very stereotypical of a pond that's had water in it, because the water over time would make all the sides nice and smooth, push them down and compress them, and it would give you this exact type pattern here.
I see some stones here now. Would that be possible that there was a wall at some point?
No, interestingly, all of these stones that you see have come from the fields, and what's happened is over time, when the farmer's been farming the field, he's picked up all of these stones to get them out of the way. And of course, the best place to put these stones is in here because it's not being used anymore.
Right.
So it's a really interesting place, and you have to imagine, you know, 800 years ago, people coming here, digging this out, and then filling it with water, which would have been filled naturally from rainwater. And the really clever thing is they were smart people, so they knew where the clay and things were, and where there was a lot of clay that would hold the water in. So they dug test pits in different places and went, hey, this has got lots of clay in it, we could dig a pond here and the water would stay here considerably, so that we can keep fresh fish in it. And yeah, you're basically stood currently in the bottom of a pond that's possibly 800 years old, but it could even date back to the Roman times as well. And to give you an idea, there's a tree over here. Some of the markings on this tree, by the way, go all the way up the tree trunks because they were carved during the Second World War when the trees were younger. And you see names of people carved into these trees, and that is a great way of showing you that all the way back then this pond was dry, so we know how old the pond is. And on one of these trees is a date, and I think it says 1952 or something. I can't quite remember, but
Okay.
so this is the tree I wanted to show you. And this is possibly the oldest tree which sits next to this pond. And the interesting thing about this tree is that it's probably about 400 to 500 years old. And all of the other trees in here are maybe 200 or 300 years old. Now, in order for a tree to be able to grow, the pond has to be dry. So that's how we know how old this pond has been disused. And it may have been not the best spot to have a pond because it used to dry during the summer, and then in winter when it rained it used to fill up. But just by looking at the age of the tree, you can actually gauge how long this place has been dry and drought for of water. And I mean, as you can see, it's a really big old tree, and the roots come all the way down into the bowl of the pond. So
Yeah, that's just amazing.
yeah, it's a cool place.
Yeah, very cool history here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for that quick lesson, my friend.
Hope you enjoyed it.
So Michael's just burying something just for a quick test, and he does this on the beginning of all his hunts here. That you know, he's getting the signal, the machine's working right. So what did you put in the ground here?
So I just put a little button in here, but I always make sure that it's a really extreme type of target. So it's a button probably at about 10 inches. The idea is that if I can pick this up, then you know I know that I'm going to find something in the ground, and it also demonstrates if I need to make a few changes to the machine as well.
So this 85 signal, I'm not sure, some sort of bead or something. Thinking this might be a bead originally, but the proximity to that holding pond makes me think that it was probably a line weight for fishing. Well, we have a surface 62, 63 here. Let's check that out. Okay, so it's shifted over here. Oh, looks like that's what it is here. Looks like maybe a little coin of some kind. So coming up right on the 70 mark was this coin. So right next to where that coin was, you can see where I dug the hole here and just filled it in. Right next to it, we'll just get out of that. You can hear that iron right next to that target. That's what I love about the Deus too. There can be a coin right next to this iron signal here, and it'll still track it out there. Well, there was a coin in that, it was very low target ID, 64. But it's definitely a coin here. Well, nice clean 81 here. Let's find out what this is. So that nice 80s target's down a little bit. It was down a little ways, so it's probably a fairly big item. It is. It's a coin down there. Well, another 60 signal on this little coin here. Looks like another 20p I found. So ringing up the same as those 20 pence here. A little button in that 63 target ID. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to call it a day there today. We put more miles on today. It was a tough go in this field here. Found a few little bits and bobs, some coins. That cool little token was found. And a whole bunch. How many buttons did you find today?
So many buttons. Yeah, I mean, you'd think that somebody was just walking along the field planting buttons and not seeds.
It was amazing how many he's come up with. So a lot of targets, and just another really beautiful day. Unfortunately for me, this ends my little trip down here to the beautiful landscape of Devon. And just thanks to Michael for all his time, for one. Helpful hints on metal detecting. This guy is just an expert with this XP Deus metal detector, and certainly tips on just metal detecting in general. Sure glad I had the Deus actually over the last few days. We were out hours, and that's just such a light machine. My shoulder would have been toasted otherwise. But yeah, just thanks very much for all your time and help, and found some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you've enjoyed your trip, and thanks everyone for watching Wayne's great channel. And of course, yeah, we'll see you again next time.
Please check out his channel as well. I'm going to put the link below. Only Me Again, metal detecting. Thanks.